Hello and welcome to devlog-2 of Before we start, I'd like to say thank you for watching these videos and any shorts I put out. On that note, for the shorts, I will be keeping the AI voice, but for these long form devlog videos, I won't. Okay, moving on to the video, we're going to start with a small clip. Gameplay wise, it doesn't contain too much, but a few systems that I've been working on. Then we're going to move forward into just problems I've been having with the game, development stuff, things I want to add, things I have added, future of the game, all that stuff. All right, so let's play this clip right now. A bit disappointing, I know, but this is just me trying out things on the very first section of the game while I was creating it. Everything else in the background footage on this devlog is going to be on my testing scene, and you might notice that it looks progressively better, and that's because of shaders, which is what I want to talk about first. Some things I already have on my shader are point lights and fog. Super minimal, but I wanted my lighting to look a certain way and I didn't want everything to be visible, so I also added fog. I've been tweaking the formula of the final result on my shader. Like for my lights, I mix a lot more between the color of the light and the texture of what is being lit. That way, the result isn't super simple, but rather looks soft and a bit grayed out. Anyways, I won't be updating the shader as much anymore, and the reason is that I need my final map in order to switch out my ambient lighting for a light map, or mix them. I'm still not sure. The point is that I will leave the shader alone until I'm almost at the end of development. I want a light map, that way I have better control of how the final result looks like by baking the lights. Obviously I will keep my current dynamic lights because they will be needed, but I won't be adding any lights onto further testing or maps until the final design is complete. Some problems I ran into have been fixed, others will just be left until I can make better sense of what needs to be done. So previously I had decided to make a 2-camera system for the player, one for the body and one for the hands. This is what ultimately caused my artifacting issue with the model. The way I was clearing the buffer when rendering and the batch of the arms camera was just messed up. So now I'm back to only one camera. This makes it easier to render, and I also don't have to worry about creating multiple animations. I think honestly this was the obvious choice given the scale of the project, but whatever. The player also had some problems. Going upstairs, I've implemented better ray detection and interpolation, though I can't say this is the better result just yet. Since the camera follows the position of the body, it makes a slight jump when going up the stairs. It looks a bit jittery. Smoothing the camera positions makes it a little better, but this is a problem with the camera following the Y position of the body rather than interpolating between the start and end position of the stairs handling. So I still need to work on this, but for now we'll just call it good enough. Something that took a while to implement and I'm still working on is the editor and editor parsing. So this is a kind of reveal. I'm using Trench Broom 2. Yeah, it's a level editor used by Quake, and I did this for a couple of reasons. The most important is that I needed a way to create entities in world space rather than manually adding them in code. I can also set the entity structure so I can add my own custom entities in Trench Broom and then parse them in my engine based on those properties. It's super simple and based only on what I need. Secondly, I can export the brushes or physical blockouts of the map, making development and level design way faster. Basically, making my own would have taken too long with too many issues, so I'd rather do this, and maybe later on I can create my own editor that works in hand with the engine. I think there were other things like inspecting and linking systems that took a while and I had issues with, but the thing that took most of my time was the enemy AI. Making a monster scary isn't just about how it looks, but how it moves and follows you through the environment. It's also one of the most important things in my game. Before I could code, I needed a body, so I went into Blender to make this enemy. It's only blocks for now, and it's kind of janky animation, but I wanted something real fast that I could just put into the game. For the AI logic, I didn't want a simple run at the player code. I used a task-based system combined with steerable AI, which is part of libgdx. I broke up the enemy into states like dormant, search, patrol, pursuit, withdraw, and transition. All of these states interact with AI code and animations, and I still need to improve it. I implemented a steerable system that calculates forces to move the mob. Instead of snapping the character to a position, it steers towards it, making the movement feel just a little bit better. But behavior blending is where most of my code interacts. There are two main behaviors, arrive and look at. Arrive always needs to be given when moving. It literally tells the steerable what the location target is. Look at behavior is just for rotating the body in the direction of the target. So I place nodes in the level, I parse them, and then add them to the pathing task. Then the enemy decides which node is the arrive target. That way I can command the enemy AI to move a certain way or arrive at a chosen target. This can be decided by events so far, but maybe I'll add more things to command the enemy later on. I don't know. So it can patrol through nodes, withdraw when it arrives, transition and turn invisible, then look for another location to spawn at. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's almost the same as Amnesia the Bunker, but there are no holes to hide in, though the idea is that it will move through buildings. There are, of course, several problems here. The size of the model is one. Since it clips through the geometry, it breaks the illusion. Also, if I should add IK movement, that way the limbs interact with the walls, and animations, once again, not being experienced in modeling or animations, is a big wall in the way, and this is the same thing that happened to me back in Unity when doing like game jams. For now, the idea is to keep working with blockouts of the enemy, get it real dialed in, then move on to other things in the game. Enemy code is super important because it's one of the main things that will set up the atmosphere of the game. The other thing is art direction. So up until now, I've been working mostly with gray boxes and placeholders, but blocking out can only do so much. I've reached a point where I need to actually see what the world I'm building looks like so I can do it correctly. It might not seem important or it might seem too early, but I think it's the right choice to focus on art now rather than creating random things with no purpose in code. I've been diving deep into concept art to visualize the specific ideas I have for this atmosphere. These sketches are like my roadmap. They tell me how the game should be or shouldn't be, right? Some concept art just shows me that the ideas I have are good, but they're just not what the game needs. Or maybe that the idea is just not good at all based on, my vision of the game. The biggest news here is that we are officially in pre-alpha. All I mean by that is that the prototyping phase is over. The core direction of the game is locked in, and I'm happy to say that the story is now mostly complete. So I'm not just testing mechanics anymore, but actually building the experience. Knowing exactly where the story goes has made it so much easier to design the levels and the scares to fit the narrative. So what's next? Well, my immediate goal is to finish the enemy AI behavior as fast as I can, and once the monster is fully functional, then I'll finish the level layout as it needs the enemy so I can gauge how it plays out. From there, I'll shift my focus onto replacing all the blockouts with actual assets. Now, this is where the game will actually get its look and where I'll start the final shaders, creating the light map and all that stuff. All of this work is leading toward a short playable teaser so you guys can finally get your hands on the game. And once that teaser is out, I'll be making a teaser trailer, hopefully. I don't know when, but I'm slowly heading there. Anyways, that's all I have for this devlog. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.